Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago. If you were only half as persistent then as you are now, we all wouldn't have to be here now. Now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. It seems the time has come. Okay, give me your confession. Let's do it. Ah, fuck the squats. Let me get through his confession first, and then we'll do the squats. Excuse me. Oh, that felt gross. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. No! Why all the squats? No! Gross! Gross! I see the other stuff. But gross. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. Wouldn't they have checked his blood? Yeah, that is way too much blood too. Like, what the hell? It's way too much blood for such a small donation. That would have had to been like a deep cut, right? Alright, I'm supposed to go through his damn confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. Oh, the SL9 case. Marine Corps numbers. Oh, fuck that. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. Sir Frankie, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. Reminds me of this one teacher I had forever ago. I understand he meant well now, but I still kind of hate him. Fair, there's always that teacher. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. Oh, okay. So Sir Frank the Third is how that's supposed to be read. Okay, sorry, my apologies. When it's lowercase i's, I don't read that as well. But yeah, it is a weird policy, but I think I've seen it before, so yeah. Right, I read this. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. Oh, I imagine that is rough. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? Because I think one of the victims is someone he knows. That day was my last chance. That's why I stole a detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. Managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What, are you blind? They love showing this photo. The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you sold the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. Is it here that I present the case file? Let me see. I don't know. It's kind of... Sometimes placement is weird. No. Okay. Because there's a name Marshall in there. So I think it's someone that's related to him. Does it not want me to talk about this yet? No. Maybe we press on this. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filing out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because of a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. But how much of that was just happened? Or how much of that was planned? That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I need to check this. 5:15? This mentions 5:14. I know that's a 1 minute difference, but hold on. I mean, it's a minute difference, but this is Phoenix Wright we're talking about. He brings up any small, itty bitty little incident, so I feel like this is what it wants from me. No? Are you serious? What do you mean that's not it? How's Edgeworth was there at 4:40. Meekins came by at 4:50. Then Bruce. Then Mike. Hold on. What? Oh, now I remember this case. There's going to be a twist and turns out turns on the last part of this case. Oh, I bet. I fucking bet. Okay. Okay, so it's... Someone is 7777. I'm betting you it's Gant. I don't fucking trust Gant. But... I don't know what to do here. I'm a little confused. Oh, so I'm not reading all this. 5 minutes. There's a person. So much info. Ah, that's the knife he used. I don't know what to say. Knocked him out, managed to escape. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room. It wants me to do something with the files, but it's not allowing me to present the files. So I'm a little lost. I think it has to do with that there's a Neil Marshall. Because that's Jake Marshall. He's Jake Marshall, and there's a Neil Marshall as a victim. So he's connected that way, I'm assuming. This game doesn't just let people have the same names just because. If someone has the same name as someone else, it's on fucking purpose. Okay, it's saying press Marshall on every statement. I have, though. Oh, I did read this. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert prepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. But somebody who knows how the system works found the tape and was like, oh no, here you go. To this manga when the MC is seriously like Olivia Armstrong, but like extra waifu. Ooh, damn, nice. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is, on that day. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense. Okay, so I did have to question everything because then it pushes things along. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Thank you. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't... Oh, this is what it was talking about. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? Does it forget? Does it say to press it? No. Now's when we present the file case. There we go. American courts versus Japanese courts, and I'm confused sometimes. Well, to be fair, this is meant to be like a made-up court system based on, I think, like... loosely maybe based off of American courts, but it's definitely like a made-up court system. It's part of the lore. And they actually delve deeper into that in future games of like how the system might be corrupt and kind of messed up. Because no matter what the case is, you have 3 days to prove whether or not someone is guilty or innocent. And then you gotta like make a verdict. And the verdict is made by the judge being like, either you guilty or not guilty. And then, you know, proceed from there. It's meant to be like speedy court, but that always doesn't lead to great results. Exactly. Exactly. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. Hold on, speed. Yeah. No, yeah. in a list of murder victims. Cacti... Sorry, I moved my mic because I was wiping my mouth and I didn't want to be rude to you guys who are listening to me. Cactus juice makes you like high. I know it's the quenchiest. It'll quench you. It's the quenchiest. My fellow nerds. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. Oh, it must be his brother. Oh, he was also dressed up like a cowboy. That's adorable. Yeah, while you were talking about it, I remembered, like, oh yeah, you sent me that gif. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's this relation to you? What's his relation to you? He was my brother. Oh, that's so sad. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then deputy chief of police. Oh, he's the fourth man at the bottom corner. Oh, they hit that on purpose. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Oh shit. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. Okay. Watch me be totally wrong, but like, he has the same creepy eyes that Gant does. Like, I can't be the only one that notices, right? Like, the way, like, you see his creepy eyes. Oh, of course they show it with his eyes closed. Damn it. When he has his eyes open, he has the same kind of creepy gaze. I'm like... So I don't know if they're related or somehow the same person. I don't know how that's possible. Probably not possible. Probably not. But, like, my brain's, like, turning. I'm, like, thinking. Yes, I read this. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the police records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fair fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. What if he figured out the truth quicker than the other people, and Gant somehow knows Joe and killed him? Don't know why, but that's where my brain's going. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with his resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguised himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Yeah. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. chance. It's gotta be more than just that.
So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one.
Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial! Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got to the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye, and the testimony is one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. It's completely contestable because she lied multiple times. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Objection! That's my word! Or, I guess, AG! I rest my case. Object! Object! I object! There's still people who checked in before they did. Anything could have happened before the Meekins Marshall tussle. I bet you there's something there. I bet you.
It seems this trial has reached a conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time just proving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security cameras tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty.
Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
Objection, 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 objection. Thank you. Okay, hold it. Emma!
I was wondering where she was. She's been gone this whole time. I completely forgot. I got so enamored in what was happening.
Your Honor, wait. Emma, the defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right?
Mr. Wright, that's your name. Are you this girl's guardian?
Your Honor? Innocent. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Oh, what a sweetheart. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Skye sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Wait, then why did you want to talk? Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy.
Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright, with regard to the incident at the police department,
There's no way that was 3 minutes. No way.
does any reasonable doubt remain?
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? It's nowhere near where anyone was like stabbed or touched or anything. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. Whenever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. I feel like I need to save, just in case. Whoops. Fuck. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing?
I definitely object. There has to be something. I don't know what, but there's something.
Oh, okay. I think it's where the blue badger is. So it can't have been put there after the blue badger was there. It would have had to have happened before the blue badger. But also, Meekins, why are you blind as fuck and didn't see that before? It's Meekins. Never mind. Of course, that's why. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction.
Totally.
Oh, and two, it can't be Meekins' blood because this hand was cut, but this is the type of handprint that was left. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing.
Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
The blue badger. Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. I'm so smart! It's about the blue badger. The blue badger is finally being relevant. I've been needing it to be relevant for so long.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use.
The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans?
This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. What about that piece of plywood? Oh, you're still here, Marshall. The blue badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The blue badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well,
what?
My boo-boo gets it. My boo-boo always gets me. That's right. So long as the blue badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker.
What?
That was so dramatic. Why is Marshall involved? He knows something.
So that means, just exactly what does that mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma, on that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in. Oh, sorry, I was put to be read as a question. Was left there before the blue badger was brought in?
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. So the murder did take place there, but just another incident took place afterwards that kind of overshadowed the whole thing. And, of course, no one actually caught the first murder, so...
But how?
One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time, someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been. Right, because the amount of blood we found there, it wasn't like it was a pool of blood that was just sitting there for anyone to like walk across and find. We had to spray to find traces of it left. So whoever cleaned it didn't like do a deep clean. It was like a surface clean. But the traces were still there. Someone bled prior. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. That would have to be the time card, no? Because that's the only way they would have tracked time that day. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Yeah, the log! Exactly! Ah! Great minds! Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? I'm gonna save just in case. Because I fear failure. What shows when the first crime took place? Oh wait, I need to go this way. Take that! If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh, the ID record card! I'm smart too! Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at... Let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah! Ah! Miles Edgeworth! Just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. It's not going to have been Edgeworth. It's not going to be him. I know. I trust my boyfriend. I know. Nope. I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. He's a main character, exactly. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. This mysterious 777777. There's only one other card number remaining. 77777777. I don't know whose all sevens is. My guess is Gant's, because that's such a weird number to have. But I don't know. I don't know. We don't know yet. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer.
That's the only plausible explanation. Oh, I just had a brain theory. Okay. I still don't know if Gant's actually guilty or not, but he has such the vibes of being like the actual murderer. Like, he just screams bad vibes to me. Okay, but no. Okay. Brain theory. So we know he misplaced his card, right? Like he lost it. Well, he didn't misplace it. Marshall stole it. So we know he lost the card. And he was writing out a lost item information. We have this evidence. Where is it? Here. He was working on writing this out, but he stopped. Why would he stop? Maybe Gant approached him and was like, "Oh, what's wrong, buddy?" "Oh, I lost my card, sir." "Oh, you lost your card? What do you need?" "Oh, I need to go. There's this big evidence shit that's going down today." "Oh, you don't say." "Look here, let me help you out, pal. Why don't you follow me? We'll use my card to get in, and you just follow in right behind me." Who's gonna fucking say no to Gant? He's he's like the chief of police. He has the power. He has the ability. Like, district chief of police. Who's gonna tell him no? That's my brain theory. I think that's how that happened. Am I right? I don't know. I never got this far in this game. This is just my brain being like, that's the only plausible explanation. He went in with that number. I'm not saying it again. Galaxy Brain Tank. "Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is blah, 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 blah." That's 17 too many, Your Honor. I love how they actually keep track. "Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least, at present." "What?" "Explain yourself, son." "The ID number belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher." You don't say. You don't say. Is it maybe the chief of police? Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous. Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. When it's involved in a case. "In an official charge filed against an executive is accepted." An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. Oh shit, the prosecutor's office is shit. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Oh shit, that's right. She could technically also be the one. But we're believing she's innocent. So my brain went, nope, not her, because she's innocent. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 77777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. Oh, okay. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. Yes, 09 incident? Answer me this. Oh, sorry, wrong voice. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Lana's being put on the spot. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana! I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? Are you saying 3 days is not enough to get evidence and prove someone guilty and not guilty? Are you saying my system is messed up? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. She's basically admitting forgery and shit. Are you saying our mess-up system is messed up? Yeah, Jack Sketcher, don't worry. I'm trying to find a good place. It's hard. I was hoping to stop after Marshall, and then this bullshit happened. So I'm trying to find a spot. Don't worry. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. Oh, don't give me that sad look. You might have fucked up. Well, Mr. Fiance says it for good reason, because I have to wake up early for work, so he's trying to have my best interest in mind. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence, there's no quotation marks. Either you forge or you don't. There is no forge. Ew, bedtime. Right? The truth has been revealed. See, that's what I'm talking about. No. No! The system is corrupt! Holy shit, it's fucked up! Blah, blah, blah. Holy shit, everything sucks. It caused so much chaos in the courtroom. Chaos in the courtroom cannot be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. Oh, thank God, there's a to be continued. Okay, I can wrap this up. Holy shit, though. No, what's funny, though, is that throughout the first 3 or 4 chapters of this game, we dealt with Edgeworth, who was also using unlawful practices to get his verdict. Because before he became like a more decent guy, he was the prosecutor who always won his cases, regardless if it was right or not. Regardless if that person was actually guilty or not, he always got a guilty verdict because he was being trained by someone else who also did the same shittiness. Probably worse than Edgeworth did, but same tactics of like always get a guilty verdict no matter what it takes. So to see him now be like, you forged evidence? No! It was like a known secret. Like, you know when celebrities are shit and everyone in the circle knows they're shit, but like local public doesn't? It's like almost the same thing here. Like, it's a known secret in the court that like people do whatever it takes to get the right, whatever it takes to win. And but now to have it be so blatantly stated, like, yeah, we had to forge evidence sometimes because we couldn't do everything we needed under the law because the law was suppressing us, supposedly. But I could agree, since you only have 3 fucking days to prove whether you ruined someone's life or not. Like, also, right. Yep. All the things. Which IRL would be a fast pass to a lawsuit. Absolutely. Anytime you say anything in like anything like that, that's used against you. That's why they say usually it's best to shut your mouth, because whatever you say, they could be like, oh, well, you said this. So who can even, right? Most cases take months, if not years, to resolve. So this system, I mean, I think probably when initially this game was created, they were just thinking like, okay, how do we make a lawsuit interesting in video game form? We can't have something take months and months and months. That's gonna make the game too long, and no one's gonna be interested in that. Oh, let's shorten it to 3 days and like let's make up a law system. I imagine that might have been how it started, but I think they then were like, okay, let's actually explore this thought though of like, okay, what are the implications of a case only allowing 3 days to be solved and completed? Like, it's it's fucking wild. Like, such a silly game that's meant to be like fun and interesting then suddenly gets deep, while also having characters named like fucking Wendy Oldbag and pun names like that. Oh my gosh. I love this series. I think it's so interesting. It has really stupid shit happen, but it also has like legit shit that happens. It's just like, oh, what? I love it. Okay. This is a lovely place to stop for the night though. So we're going to end it here.